Commander Jake Harrison sat in his office at Earth Defense Headquarters when the message arrived. It was 3 in the morning and most people were sleeping. Jake was not sleeping. He never slept well anymore, not since the strange signal started, coming from space. The computer screen lit up with words he had never seen before. They were not in English, but somehow he could understand them. The letters seemed to glow with a soft blue light. Jake rubbed his eyes and looked again. The message was still there. Commander Harrison, the words said. This is Queen Zara of the Veltar people. I must speak with you now. Earth is in great danger. Jake's hands shook as he reached for his coffee cup. In 10 years of military service, he had never seen anything like this. The message continued to appear on his screen, line after line. I know this is hard to believe. I know you have many questions. But please listen. Your world has been protected for 10 years. I have been protecting it. Now I cannot protect it anymore. Dr. Lisa Campbell was sleeping in her lab when her phone rang. She was the best scientist on Earth when it came to studying space and life from other planets. She had spent her whole life looking for signs of alien life. Now alien life was calling her. Lisa, get to headquarters now. Jake's voice was shaking on the phone. Bring everything you have about signals from space. Something big is happening. Lisa grabbed her coat and ran to her car. The streets were empty as she drove through the city. Streetlights flashed past her window like yellow stars. She had no idea that her life was about to change forever. At headquarters, Jake was reading more messages. The alien queen was telling him things that seemed impossible. She said that Earth had been watched by evil aliens for years. These evil aliens wanted to make humans into slaves. The Queen had been hiding Earth from them using special technology. 10 years ago, I met one of your people, the message said. Dr. Lisa Campbell was on a research mission in deep space. Her ship was damaged. I saved her life. She was the first human I ever spoke to. Lisa arrived at headquarters and ran up the stairs to Jake's office. Her face was pale and her eyes were wide. She had seen the same blue glow on her computer at the lab. Jake, she said, breathing hard. I've been getting messages too. From someone called Queen Zara. She says she knows me. Jake pointed at his computer screen. Read this. Tell me I'm not going crazy. Lisa sat down and read the messages. Her mouth fell open. She remembered the mission 10 years ago. Her ship had broken down near Jupiter. She had been ready to die in space. Then a beautiful ship made of crystal had appeared. A voice had spoken to her in her mind. The voice had been kind and gentle, like a mother talking to her child. I remember, Lisa whispered. She saved my life. I thought it was a dream. The messages kept coming. Queen Zara told them about the Dominion Empire. These were the evil aliens who wanted to enslave Earth. They had already taken over hundreds of planets. They turned free people into slaves and stole everything valuable from their worlds. The Dominion has been looking for Earth for many years, the message explained. I have been using my technology to hide your planet. I made it look empty on their sensors. But now they have captured me. Soon they will learn where Earth is located. Captain Ryan Davis was on the exploration ship New Horizon when the emergency call came. His ship was the farthest from Earth, exploring new solar systems. Ryan had been in space for 6 months, looking for new planets where humans could live. Captain Davis, the radio crackled with Jake's voice, return to Earth immediately. We have a code red situation. Ryan had never heard a code red before. It meant the highest level of danger. It meant Earth itself was in trouble. He ordered his crew to turn the ship around and fly home as fast as possible. As New Horizon raced through space, Ryan received the full story. An alien queen had been protecting Earth. Now she was captured. The evil Dominion Empire would soon find Earth and attack it. Sir, his communications officer said, I'm picking up strange signals. They're coming from the direction of Earth. Ryan looked at the signals on his screen. They were the same blue glow that Jake and Lisa had seen. Queen Zara was sending her messages to every human ship in space. She was warning everyone at the same time. Back on Earth, General Susan Martinez was calling an emergency meeting. She was the highest military leader on the planet. Generals and scientists from every country were coming to headquarters. They all had the same story. They had all received messages from an alien queen. Professor Alex Turner arrived with boxes full of research. He had been studying strange patterns in space signals for years. Now he knew what those patterns meant. They were Queen Zara's technology, hiding Earth from enemy sensors. "Look at this data," Alex said, spreading papers on the conference table. "These energy readings I've been tracking for 10 years. They match the signals we're getting now. She's been protecting us all this time, and we never knew it." The room filled with world leaders and military officers. Everyone was talking at once. Some people said the messages were fake. Others said it was a trick by enemy countries on Earth, but the evidence was too strong to ignore. Dr. Lisa Campbell stood up and spoke to the crowded room. Her voice was quiet, but everyone listened. 10 years ago, I met her," Lisa said. "She saved my life when my ship was dying in space. She could have left me to die, but she didn't. She helped me because that's what good people do. Now she needs our help." Commander Jake Harrison read the latest message from Queen Zara. His voice was steady as he spoke to the room full of leaders. "She says the Dominion Empire has taken her to a prison planet called Terminus Prime. They are torturing her to learn Earth's location. She cannot hold out much longer. When they break her, they will come for us." The room became very quiet. Everyone understood what this meant. Earth had been living in safety for 10 years without knowing it. One alien queen had been standing between humanity and slavery. Now she was captured and suffering because she protected them. "What does she want from us?" General Martinez asked. Jake looked at the screen one more time. The final message was short and simple. "She's not asking us to save her," Jake said. "She's just warning us that the Dominion is coming. She wants us to be ready." But Lisa Campbell stood up again. Her eyes were bright with determination. "Maybe she's not asking," Lisa said. "But I am. She saved my life. She saved all our lives. Now it's our turn to save hers." The room exploded with voices. Some people said it was impossible. Some said it was suicide, but others were nodding their heads. They understood what Lisa meant. Queen Zara had risked everything to protect Earth. She had given up her freedom and maybe her life to keep humans safe. Now humans had to decide what kind of people they really were. Were they the kind of people who abandoned their friends? Or were they the kind of people who would cross the galaxy to save someone who had saved them? Commander Jake Harrison looked around the room at the faces of Earth's leaders. He saw fear in some faces, but he also saw something else. He saw the same look that human soldiers had worn in every war throughout history. It was the look of people who would not back down when their friends were in danger. The alien queen had protected Earth for 10 years. Now it was time for Earth to protect her. The news spread across Earth like wildfire. President Claire Johnson stood before the United Nations building in New York City. Cameras from every country pointed at her as she prepared to speak. The whole world was watching. "My fellow humans," she began. "Today we learned that we are not alone in the universe. We also learned that someone has been protecting us for 10 years. An alien queen named Zara has kept our planet safe from enemies we never knew existed." The crowd in front of the building was completely silent. People around the world stopped what they were doing to listen. In homes and offices, on phones and computers, everyone was hearing the same incredible story. "This queen has been captured while defending us," the president continued. "She is now being tortured by enemies who want to enslave our planet. I am here to tell you that Earth will not abandon our protector." Marine Colonel Ben Parker was already making phone calls before the president finished speaking. He had been a soldier for 20 years. He had fought in wars around the world, but he had never organized a mission like this one. "I need volunteers," Ben told his officers. "This won't be like any mission we've ever done before. We're going into space to fight aliens. Some of you might not come back." The response surprised him. Every single officer volunteered. Then the soldiers under them volunteered. Then retired soldiers called and asked to join. Within hours, Ben had more volunteers than he could use. NASA engineer Kate Williams was working in her lab when the call came. She had spent her career building rockets and space stations. Now she had to figure out how to turn human spaceships into weapons that could fight alien technology. "We have the technology the Queen gave us," Kate told her team. "She's been slowly sharing it with us for years. We thought it was just advanced human science. Now we know it came from her." Kate's team worked day and night. They took apart alien technology and learned how it worked. They built new engines that could travel faster than anything humans had ever made. They created weapons that could punch through alien armor. The work was dangerous. 3 times experimental engines exploded in the testing lab. But Kate and her team kept working. They knew that Queen Zara was suffering while they worked. Every hour mattered. Steve Adams was the richest man in America. He owned technology companies and space exploration businesses. When he heard about the mission, he called President Johnson directly. "I'm giving you everything," Steve said. "My factories, my money, my rockets. Whatever you need to save her." Steve's factory started building new ships around the clock. His workers volunteered to work without pay. His rockets carried supplies and equipment to the secret military base where the rescue mission was being planned. Dr. Rachel Moore was a medical doctor who specialized in treating unusual diseases. When she learned about Queen Zara's alien biology, she knew she had to help. "We don't know anything about treating her kind of people," Rachel told the military planners. "If we rescue her and she's badly hurt, we need to be able to help her." Rachel studied every piece of information about Veltar biology that Queen Zara had shared over the years. She learned that the Queen's people were made partly of living crystal. Their bodies worked differently from human bodies. Their minds were connected in ways humans didn't understand. Tony Clark had been the best Navy SEAL in military history. He was 55 years old and had been retired for 5 years. When he heard about the rescue mission, he came out of retirement. "I'm too old for this," Tony told Colonel Parker. "But I'm not too old to help train your young soldiers, and I'm definitely not too old to fight aliens who hurt our friends." Tony joined the training program as an instructor. He taught young soldiers how to fight in zero gravity. He showed them how to use alien weapons. Most importantly, he taught them how to stay calm when everything went wrong. Dr. Amy Foster was an archaeologist who studied ancient human civilizations. She had never expected to work on a space mission, but Queen Zara had sent detailed records about her people's history and culture. Someone had to understand these records to plan the rescue. "Look at this," Amy told the mission planners. "The Queen's people don't just communicate with words, they share emotions and memories directly. That's how she was able to talk to our computers. She was sharing her thoughts with our technology." Amy's research revealed important information about where Queen Zara was being held. The prison planet Terminus Prime was built by an ancient civilization that the Dominion had conquered. The Queen had hidden messages in her historical records that showed the prison's weak points. All around Earth, ordinary people were contributing to the mission in their own ways. Factory workers built parts for the new spaceships. Scientists developed new technologies. Even children collected money to help pay for supplies. Mrs. Betty Johnson was a grandmother in Kansas. She had never been involved in military matters, but when she heard about Queen Zara, she organized her whole town to help. "This alien lady protected my grandchildren for 10 years, Betty said at a town meeting. "Now we're going to help protect her." Betty's town raised money and collected materials. They sent care packages to the soldiers who were training for the mission. Most importantly, they sent letters of support that reminded the military teams that all of Earth was behind them. The training base was located in the Nevada desert, far from any cities. Soldiers from every country came there to learn how to fight in space. They practiced using alien weapons and wearing alien armor. They learned to breathe artificial air and walk in artificial gravity. Lieutenant Sam Roberts was the best pilot in the Air Force. He had flown every type of aircraft that humans had ever built. Now he was learning to fly alien spaceships. "These ships don't work like our planes," Sam told the other pilots. "They respond to your thoughts as much as your hands. You have to think like the aliens who built them." Sam spent hours connected to alien flight systems, learning to control ships with his mind. It was exhausting and sometimes painful, but he knew that pilot skills might be the difference between saving Queen Zara and losing her forever. Dr. Nicole Gray was a trauma surgeon who had worked in war zones around the world. She volunteered for the mission because she knew that alien biology would be different from human biology. "I've learned to treat humans under the worst conditions," Nicole told the medical team. "Now I have to learn to treat aliens under even worse conditions." Nicole studied Queen Zara's crystal-based biology. She learned that the Queen's people healed differently from humans. Their bodies could repair themselves, but only if they had the right kind of energy. Nicole had to figure out how to provide that energy using human medical equipment. Sergeant Joe Mitchell was an expert with weapons and explosives. He had served in special forces for 8 years. Now he was modifying human weapons to work against alien defenses. "Their shields work differently from anything we've ever seen," Joe explained to his weapons team. "We have to think creatively. We can't overpower them, so we have to outsmart them." Joe developed new types of ammunition that could penetrate alien armor. He created explosive devices that could disable alien technology. Most importantly, he taught other soldiers how to use alien weapons they might capture during the mission. As the weeks passed, the rescue mission took shape. Ships were built and tested. Soldiers were trained and equipped. Plans were made and revised. But everyone knew that they were preparing for something that had never been done before. Commander Jake Harrison was chosen to lead the mission. He had never expected to command a fleet of spaceships on a journey across the galaxy. But Queen Zara had specifically asked for him in her final messages. "She trusts you," General Martinez told Jake. "She says that humans have something that other species don't have. She calls it the fire that burns in your hearts when you fight for others." Jake looked at the ships being prepared in the secret hangar. They were beautiful and deadly, combining human engineering with alien technology. Each ship carried the best soldiers and scientists that Earth had to offer. But Jake knew that technology and training would not be enough. They were going to face an empire that had conquered hundreds of worlds. They were going to fight enemies who had weapons and ships far more advanced than anything Earth could build. The only advantage they had was something that couldn't be measured or tested. They had the determination that came from fighting for someone who had protected them. They had the courage that came from refusing to abandon a friend. Queen Zara had risked everything to protect Earth. Now Earth was going to risk everything to protect her. The rescue mission was ready to begin. The rescue fleet left Earth on a Tuesday morning. 12 ships rose from the secret base in Nevada and disappeared into the dark sky. Each ship carried 50 of Earth's best soldiers and scientists. They were heading into space farther than any human had ever traveled. Commander Jake Harrison stood on the bridge of the USS Defiance, the largest ship in the fleet. Through the front window, he could see stars that looked different from the ones visible from Earth. They were traveling so fast that space itself looked strange and twisted. "How long until we reach the first checkpoint?" Jake asked Lieutenant Sam Roberts, his best pilot. 18 hours at current speed," Sam replied. His hands moved over controls that glowed with blue alien light. "The navigation system is working perfectly. Queen Zara's technology is amazing." Dr. Nicole Gray was in the medical bay, studying the latest information about Veltar biology. She had to be ready to treat Queen Zara when they found her. The Queen had been captured for 3 weeks now. Nicole worried about what condition she might be in. "Commander," the communications officer called out, "we're receiving a signal from the front of the fleet." On the main screen, Captain Lisa Grant appeared. She was commanding the scout ship USS Explorer, which was flying ahead of the main fleet to watch for dangers. "Jake, we have a problem," Lisa said. Her face looked worried. "There's a Dominion patrol fleet directly in our path. 6 ships heavily armed. They haven't seen us yet, but they will soon." Jake felt his stomach tighten. This was their first test. If they failed here, they would never reach Queen Zara. "How many soldiers do they have?" Jake asked. "Each Dominion ship carries about 200 warriors," Lisa replied. "They're bigger and stronger than humans. Their weapons are more advanced than ours." Jake looked around the bridge at his crew. They were all young and brave, but they had never fought aliens before. He had to make a decision that could save or destroy the mission. All ships, this is Commander Harrison, Jake announced over the fleet communication system. We're going to try something that Queen Zara taught us. We're going to pretend to be something we're not. Engineer Mike Thompson was working in the engine room when the order came. He had to make their human ships look like alien trading vessels on the Dominion sensors. Can we fool them? His assistant asked. Queen Zara showed us how, Mike replied, working quickly with alien technology. The Dominion has conquered so many species that they can't remember them all. We just have to look like one of the species they've already enslaved. Mike changed the energy signature of all 12 human ships. On Dominion sensors, they would look like cargo ships from the Kythera system, a species that had been conquered 50 years earlier. The Dominion patrol ships approached slowly. They were massive black vessels covered with weapon systems. Each one was 3 times larger than the biggest human ship. Kythera Trading Fleet. A harsh voice spoke in broken English over the radio. State your business in Dominion space. Commander, Lisa Grant answered for the fleet. She had studied recordings of Kythera speech patterns for weeks. We carry supplies to Terminus Prime Prison, Lisa replied in a strange accent. Food and medical supplies for the guards. There was a long pause. Jake held his breath. If the Dominion suspected anything, the battle would begin immediately. Upload your cargo manifest, the Dominion commander ordered. Dr. Amy Foster had prepared fake cargo lists that looked authentic. The Dominion ships scanned the human fleet and found exactly what they expected to see: supplies for a prison planet. You are cleared to proceed, the Dominion commander said. Do not deviate from the approved flight path. The Dominion ships moved away, continuing their patrol. The human fleet continued toward Terminus Prime, but Jake knew they had been very lucky. Good work, everyone, Jake announced to the fleet. But that was just the beginning. Communications Officer Diana Walsh was listening to alien radio signals when she made an important discovery. Commander, Diana said excitedly, I'm picking up transmissions from other species. They're not Dominion signals. I think there are resistance groups fighting against the Empire. Jake studied the signals on Diana's computer screen. They were coming from dozens of different planets. Some were calls for help. Others were sharing information about Dominion military movements. Can you contact them? Jake asked. I think so, Diana replied. Queen Zara gave us universal translation technology. We should be able to talk to any species in the galaxy. Diana sent a carefully worded message to the nearest resistance group. She explained that Earth was sending a rescue mission to save Queen Zara. The response came back immediately. Humans of Earth, the alien message said, we know of your queen's sacrifice. She has protected many worlds besides yours. We will help however we can. Over the next few hours, messages poured in from resistance groups across the galaxy. Species that Jake had never heard of were offering to help rescue Queen Zara. She had apparently been protecting dozens of worlds from the Dominion. She never told us about the others, Dr. Lisa Campbell said as she read the messages. She was protecting entire star systems, and we thought we were the only ones. The alien resistance groups provided crucial information. They told the humans about Dominion patrol routes and weapon systems. They warned about the dangers of traveling through Dominion space. Most importantly, they provided detailed maps of Terminus Prime Prison Planet. Chief Navigator Paul Evans was studying these maps when he realized they had a serious problem. Commander, Paul said, look at this. Terminus Prime is located in the middle of the Maelstrom. Jake looked at the star charts. The Maelstrom was a region of space where gravity worked strangely. Ships that entered it were often torn apart by invisible forces. Even the Dominion avoided traveling through it except on established safe routes. How do the Dominion ships reach the prison? Jake asked. They use a single navigation route that was mapped centuries ago, Paul replied. But that route takes 3 days to travel. If we use it, the Dominion will have plenty of time to set traps for us. Jake studied the map more carefully. The Maelstrom looked like a massive storm made of twisted space and dangerous energy. No sane pilot would try to fly through it without following the safe route. What if we're not sane? Jake asked quietly. Paul looked at him with surprise. Commander, you're not thinking of flying directly through the Maelstrom, are you? That would be suicide. Maybe. Jake replied. But it would also be unexpected. The Dominion would never think that anyone would be crazy enough to try it. Jake called a meeting of all the ship commanders. On the main screen, he showed them the star charts and explained the situation. We have two choices, Jake said. We can take the safe route and probably walk into a trap, or we can try something that's never been done before. Captain Ryan Davis, who had just arrived from his exploration mission, studied the charts carefully. I've flown through some dangerous space regions before, Ryan said, but nothing like this. The gravity fields in the maelstrom are constantly changing. One mistake and our ships would be crushed like tin cans. That's exactly why it might work, Jake replied. The Dominion thinks the same way you do. They believe it's impossible, but humans have a long history of doing impossible things. Lieutenant Sam Roberts was studying the navigation data when he had an idea. What if we don't try to navigate through the maelstrom like a normal space region? Sam suggested. What if we treat it like a storm on Earth? Storms have patterns. They have calm areas and dangerous areas. Maybe we can find a path by following the patterns instead of fighting them. Engineer Mike Thompson was excited by this idea. Our ships have Queen Zara's technology now. They can detect gravity changes faster than Dominion ships. We might be able to react quickly enough to avoid the worst dangers. Jake looked around at his commanders. They were all scared, but they were also determined. They had come too far to give up now. All right, Jake decided. We're going through the maelstrom. Paul, I want you and Sam to work together on navigation. Mike, make sure our ships are ready for extreme conditions. Everyone else, prepare your crews for the most dangerous flight of their lives. The human fleet changed course and headed toward the maelstrom. As they got closer, space around them began to look strange. Stars seemed to bend and twist. The ships themselves groaned and creaked as gravity pulled them in different directions. Entering the maelstrom in 10 minutes, Paul announced. All ships report ready. Jake looked out the front window at the swirling chaos ahead of them. It looked like a hurricane made of space itself. Lightning that wasn't really lightning flashed between twisted clouds of cosmic dust. This is insane, Dr. Nicole Gray whispered. Yes, it is, Jake replied with a smile. That's what makes it perfect. The human fleet plunged into the maelstrom, flying faster and more dangerously than any ships had ever flown before. They were gambling everything on their human instincts and their willingness to take impossible risks. Behind them, Dominion sensors detected nothing. The enemy was watching the safe route, waiting for ships that would never come. The humans were taking a path that no sane species would ever attempt. Queen Zara was somewhere ahead of them, suffering in an alien prison. But Earth's heroes were coming to save her, and nothing in the galaxy was going to stop them. The human fleet emerged from the maelstrom battered but alive. 3 ships had suffered damage from the twisted gravity fields, but Mike Thompson's engineering teams were already making repairs. They had done the impossible and reached Terminus, Prime without being detected. Captain Laura Hayes stood in the briefing room of the USS Defiance, looking at the holographic image of the prison planet. She was going to lead the rescue team that would actually extract Queen Zara from her cell. The prison is built inside a mountain, Laura explained to her team. It has 20 levels going deep underground. Queen Zara is being held on level 18, in the maximum security section. Corporal Danny Kim studied the prison blueprints that the alien resistance had provided. He was an explosives expert who had volunteered for the most dangerous part of the mission. The walls are made of quantum steel, Danny said. It's stronger than anything we have on Earth, but I think I can cut through it using modified plasma charges. Specialist Maria Santos was a computer expert who had learned to hack alien technology. She would need to disable the prison's security systems to give the rescue team a chance. Their computer systems are different from ours, Maria explained, but Queen Zara taught us the basic principles. I should be able to get us through the electronic locks. Sergeant Peter Johnson was the team's medic. He carried special medical equipment designed to treat Queen Zara's crystal-based biology. According to the intelligence reports, she's been tortured for 3 weeks, Peter said grimly. Her people heal differently from humans, but there are limits to what any living being can survive. Outside the prison planet, Admiral Karen Bell was preparing the space battle that would distract the Dominion forces. She commanded 8 of the 12 human ships, while the other 4 ships carried the rescue teams. "We need to make them think. We're a full invasion force," Karen told her captains. "The longer they focus on us, the more time Laura's team has to find the Queen." The prison planet was heavily defended. Orbital weapons platforms surrounded it like a metal ring. Dominion warships patrolled the area in regular patterns. The prison itself was protected by energy shields that could stop anything from landing. On the surface, "It looks impossible," Captain Ryan Davis said as he studied the defenses. "Good," Admiral Bell replied. "That means they won't expect us to try it." The battle began when the human ships dropped out of hyperspace and immediately opened fire on the orbital platforms. The Dominion forces were caught completely off guard. They had never expected anyone to attack Terminus Prime directly. "All ships, concentrate fire on the northern weapons platform," Admiral Bell ordered. "We need to clear a path for the rescue shuttles." The space battle was fierce but brief. Human ships were smaller and faster than Dominion vessels. They used hit-and-run tactics, striking quickly and then moving away before the enemy could respond effectively. Captain Lisa Grant commanded the USS Explorer in a daring attack on the main orbital platform. Her ship took heavy damage, but she managed to destroy the platform's main weapons array. "Platform down," Lisa reported. "The path is clear." While the space battle raged above, 4 small shuttles slipped through the chaos and landed on the prison planet's surface. Each shuttle carried a dozen commandos led by experienced officers. Captain Laura Hayes' team landed closest to the main entrance. Colonel Brad Thompson's team landed on the opposite side of the prison to create a diversion. The other 2 teams took positions to provide backup and covering fire. "Remember," Laura said to her team as they prepared to enter the prison, "we're not here to fight a war. We're here to save one person, get in, get the Queen, and get out." The prison's outer defenses were formidable. Guard towers with automated weapons covered every approach. Electronic sensors detected any movement within a kilometer of the walls. Energy barriers prevented any unauthorized landing. But Maria Santos had studied the prison's computer systems for weeks. As soon as her shuttle landed, she plugged her equipment into the prison's external network. "I'm in," Maria announced. "Disabling the perimeter sensors now." Danny Kim moved forward with his plasma charges. The prison walls were 3 meters thick and designed to stop any conventional weapon, but Danny's charges had been modified with alien technology. "Cutting charges in place," Danny reported, detonating in 30 seconds. The explosion tore a hole in the prison wall large enough for the rescue team to enter. Alarms immediately began blaring throughout the facility. Prison guards rushed toward the breach exactly as Colonel Thompson's diversion team had planned. On the opposite side of the prison, Colonel Thompson's team was creating as much noise and confusion as possible. They used flashbang grenades and smoke bombs to make the guards think a large assault force was attacking. "Keep them busy," Thompson ordered his soldiers. "Laura's team needs time to reach the Queen." Inside the prison, Laura's team moved quickly through the corridors. The layout was exactly as the resistance maps had shown. Emergency lighting cast strange shadows on the walls. The sound of their boots echoed in the empty hallways. They encountered their first guards on level 5. The Dominion prison guards were tall, gray-skinned aliens with forearms and natural armor plating. They carried energy weapons that could burn through human body armor. "Contact front," Sergeant Johnson called out as the guards opened fire. The firefight was brief but intense. Human weapons had been modified with alien technology, making them more effective against Dominion armor. But the guards had the advantage of knowing the prison layout. 2 guards down, 1 wounded, Laura reported. Continuing to objective. They reached level 18 after 20 minutes of fighting their way through the prison. The maximum security section was different from the rest of the facility. The walls here were made of pure energy, designed to contain the most dangerous prisoners in the galaxy. "There," Maria pointed to a cell at the end of the corridor. "That's where they're holding her." Through the energy barrier, they could see Queen Zara for the first time. She was smaller than they had expected, about the size of a human child. Her body was made of living crystal that normally glowed with soft blue light. Now the crystal was dim and cracked in several places. "She's alive," Peter said, checking his medical scanners. "But barely. We need to get her out of here immediately." Maria worked frantically to disable the cell's energy barrier. The computer systems were more complex here, with multiple security layers and backup systems. "Almost got it," Maria muttered, her fingers flying over her control pad. "Just need another minute." That was when the prison's elite guards arrived. These were not ordinary Dominion soldiers. They were the Emperor's personal warriors, trained specifically to fight in situations like this. "Elite guards approaching from 3 directions," Laura reported into her radio. "We need that door open now." The energy barrier flickered and disappeared. Queen Zara looked up at the humans with eyes that glowed like stars. Even in her weakened condition, she was beautiful and frightening at the same time. "You came," she whispered, her voice speaking directly into their minds. "I told you not to come." Peter Johnson knelt beside the Queen and began checking her injuries. Her crystal body was covered with cracks and burns from energy weapons. Several of her limbs appeared to be broken. "Can you walk?" Peter asked. "I can try," Queen Zara replied. She struggled to stand, leaning heavily on Peter's shoulder. "But you should not have risked so many lives for me." "You risked your life for all of Earth," Laura replied. "Now we're returning the favor." The elite guards attacked with coordinated precision. Their weapons were more powerful than anything the humans had faced before. The corridor filled with energy blasts and the sound of combat. Danny Kim used his remaining charges to seal one of the approach routes, but the guards kept coming from other directions. They were slowly being surrounded. "We need an exit strategy," Laura called out over the sound of weapons fire. That was when Queen Zara surprised them all. Despite her injuries, she began to glow with a soft blue light. The crystal formations in her body pulsed with energy. "I cannot fight," she said, "but I can show you the way." Information flowed directly from the Queen's mind into their communication devices. She was sharing detailed maps of the prison, including secret passages and hidden exits that even the guards didn't know about. "There's a maintenance tunnel behind this wall," Queen Zara told them. "It leads directly to the surface." Danny placed his last plasma charge against the wall. The explosion revealed a narrow tunnel that had been built centuries ago by the prison's original architects. "Move, move, move," Laura ordered. The rescue team began evacuating through the tunnel, with Peter carrying Queen Zara when she was too weak to walk. Above them, the space battle was reaching its climax. Admiral Bell's ships had destroyed most of the orbital defenses, but Dominion reinforcements were arriving from other star systems. "Rescue teams, this is Admiral Bell," Karen's voice crackled over the radio. "You have 10 minutes before we have to retreat. The cavalry is coming and there's too many of them." Colonel Thompson's diversion team had done their job perfectly. Most of the prison guards were still fighting them on the opposite side of the facility. But Thompson's soldiers were running out of ammunition and taking casualties. "Laura, we can't hold them much longer," Thompson reported. "Get the..." The journey home began as the most dangerous chase in human history. Queen Zara lay in the medical bay of the USS Defiance, her crystal body dim and cracked from weeks of torture. Dr. Nicole Gray worked desperately to keep her alive using a combination of human medicine and Veltar healing technology. "Her life force is fading," Nicole reported to Commander Jake Harrison. "I'm doing everything I can, but her people heal differently from us. She needs something I can't provide." Behind them, the entire Dominion fleet was mobilizing. Hundreds of warships were converging on their position. The human rescue fleet was fast, but they were badly outnumbered and still 3 days from Earth. "Dominion fleet closing in from behind," Lieutenant Sam Roberts reported from the pilot station. "They have twice as many ships as we do, and each one is bigger than our largest vessel." Jake studied the tactical display. Red dots representing enemy ships were spreading across the screen like a disease. The humans had pulled off the rescue, but now they might all die before they could get Queen Zara home. "All ships, this is Commander Harrison," Jake announced to the fleet. "We knew this would happen. Now we show them why humans never give up." The running battle began in the outer reaches of the Corvin system. Dominion fighters swarmed around the human ships like angry insects. Energy weapons lit up space with deadly colors. The human fleet fought back with everything they had, but they were slowly being overwhelmed. Captain Lisa Grant's ship, the USS Explorer, took heavy damage early in the battle. Her engines were failing and her weapons were offline. "Lisa, can you keep up with the fleet?" Jake asked over the radio. "Negative," Lisa replied. Her voice was calm despite the danger. "My ship is done for, but I can still fight." Lisa turned her damaged ship around to face the pursuing Dominion fleet. She was going to sacrifice herself to give the others more time to escape. "It's been an honor serving with you all," Lisa said. Then she cut off communication and prepared for her final battle. The USS Explorer exploded in a brilliant flash of light, taking 3 Dominion ships with it. Captain Grant and her crew had given their lives to protect Queen Zara. In the medical bay, Queen Zara's crystal body suddenly flared with light. She had felt Lisa's sacrifice through some mysterious connection that humans didn't understand. "She died for me," Queen Zara whispered to Dr. Gray. "Your species continues to amaze me. Even in death, you think of others before yourselves." The Queen struggled to sit up despite her injuries. Her body was still cracked and dim, but there was new determination in her glowing eyes. "I cannot let more humans die because of me," she said. "There is something I can do, but it will require a great sacrifice." Dr. Gray tried to make the Queen lie back down. "You're too weak. Any major effort could kill you." "I am already dying," Queen Zara replied sadly. "But my death can have meaning if I use it to save others." The chase continued for 12 more hours. The human fleet lost 2 more ships in desperate rearguard actions. Engineer Mike Thompson pushed the engines beyond their safety limits, making the ships go faster than they had ever gone before. But it wasn't enough. The Dominion fleet was slowly catching up. Soon they would be close enough to destroy the human ships with their long-range weapons. "We're not going to make it to Earth," Admiral Karen Bell reported grimly. "At current speed, they'll overtake us in 6 hours. That was when Queen Zara made her decision. She asked Dr. Gray to bring her to the ship's main computer core. Despite her weakness, she managed to walk with assistance. "What are you planning?" Commander Harrison asked when he saw the Queen entering the computer room. "I am going to do what my people do when there is no other choice," Queen Zara replied. "I am going to give everything I have to protect those I care about." The Queen placed her crystalline hands on the ship's main computer. Immediately, her body began to glow brighter than it had since her rescue. Energy flowed from her into the ship's systems. "She's connecting with the ship," Maria Santos said in amazement. "Her life force is merging with our technology." Queen Zara's consciousness spread through the entire fleet. Every ship's computer was suddenly enhanced with her knowledge and power. The human pilots found themselves able to fly better than they ever had before. The weapons became more accurate. The engines ran smoother and faster. "Incredible," Lieutenant Sam Roberts said as his ship responded to his thoughts. "It's like the ship is alive, but the enhancement came at a terrible cost." Queen Zara was burning out her own life force to power the fleet. Her crystal body was growing dimmer with each passing minute. "Stop," Dr. Gray pleaded. "You're killing yourself." "I am saving my friends," Queen Zara replied. Her voice was growing weaker, but it was filled with peace. "This is what friendship means. This is why I protected Earth for 10 years. The enhanced human fleet suddenly increased speed dramatically. They were flying faster than the laws of physics should have allowed. The Dominion ships fell behind, unable to match their impossible acceleration. But as they approached the solar system, sensors detected an even worse threat. A massive Dominion battle fleet was waiting near Earth. Hundreds of ships surrounded humanity's home planet like a metal cage. "They got here first," Jake said grimly. "They're holding Earth hostage." The Dominion commander sent a message to the human fleet. His voice was cold and mechanical. "Humans of Earth," the alien commander said. "Return our prisoner or we will destroy your planet. You have 1 hour to comply." Jake looked around the bridge at his crew. They had come so far and sacrificed so much. But now they faced an impossible choice: save Queen Zara or save Earth. That was when Queen Zara surprised them all one final time. "I have been in contact with my people," she announced weakly. "They are coming." Space around Earth suddenly filled with new ships. These were not human vessels or Dominion warships. They were beautiful crystalline ships that looked like they were made of living light. "The Veltar fleet," Queen Zara explained. "My people have been watching from afar. When they sensed my life force being used to protect humans, they knew it was time to act. But the Veltar were not the only ones who had come." Ships from dozens of other species began appearing throughout the solar system. These were all the worlds that Queen Zara had secretly protected over the years. "The Androni from the Kepler system," Queen Zara said, naming the species as their ships appeared. "The Jektar from beyond the galactic rim. The Milani from the crystal worlds. All the children I have protected are here." The alien alliance that surrounded Earth was massive. Hundreds of ships from dozens of species had come to protect the Queen who had protected them. The Dominion fleet was suddenly outnumbered 3-1. "This is impossible," the Dominion commander transmitted. "These species are scattered across the galaxy. How did they coordinate such a response?" "Love," Queen Zara replied, her voice somehow reaching every ship in the system. "The one force in the universe that your empire has never understood." The battle for Earth lasted only minutes. The combined alien fleet was too powerful for the Dominion forces. Enemy ships that had terrorized the galaxy for centuries were destroyed or forced to retreat. But victory came at the ultimate cost. Queen Zara had used the last of her life force to coordinate the defense of Earth. Her crystal body was fading like a dying star. "Thank you," she whispered to the humans gathered around her. "Thank you for showing the galaxy what courage looks like." Dr. Rachel Moore, who had traveled from Earth to meet the returning fleet, tried one last desperate procedure. She combined human medical technology with healing techniques provided by the other alien species. "We're not losing you," Rachel said firmly. "You saved us. Now we're going to save you." The procedure was dangerous and experimental. It required Queen Zara to trust her life completely to human medical science. But she had already learned to trust humans with much more than that. Working together, human doctors and alien healers managed to stabilize Queen Zara's condition. Her crystal body was still cracked and dim, but she was alive. The healing process would take months, but she would survive. 3 weeks later, Queen Zara addressed the United Nations in New York City. She stood at the podium, her crystal body glowing softly but steadily. The cracks in her form were healing, showing beautiful patterns of light. "People of Earth," she began, "you have taught the galaxy something we had forgotten. You have shown us that true strength comes not from conquering others, but from protecting them." The assembly hall was filled with representatives from dozens of alien species. The rescue of Queen Zara had created the first true galactic alliance in history. "The Dominion Empire ruled through fear," Queen Zara continued, "but you have shown us a better way. You have shown us how to rule through love." President Claire Johnson stood to address the assembly. "We didn't do this to rule anyone. We did it to save a friend." "That," said Queen Zara with something that might have been a smile, "is exactly why you will succeed where others have failed." In the months that followed, human ships began traveling to dozens of worlds throughout the galaxy. They went not as conquerors, but as friends and protectors. The human rescue fleet had become the core of a new kind of space navy, one dedicated to protecting the innocent rather than conquering the weak. Commander Jake Harrison was promoted to admiral and given command of the new Galactic Defense Fleet. His flagship was a beautiful,